Welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. Each month, we'll feature business and community leaders sharing their stories, initiatives, concerns, and passions. Learn practical information regarding community resources and opportunities. Now, the host of Business Voice, Greece Regional Chamber President and CEO, Sarah Lentini.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Parado Funeral Home. I'm your host, Sarah Lentini. I'm also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. We have a wonderful show for you today, starting with my first guest, Jason Colline of DiPasquale Construction. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, delightful to have you on the show. So DiPasquale Construction is a pretty big concern, right? You guys are doing some major construction projects in the area, and you've got some exciting news that relates to the town of Greece. And of course, we're delighted that you've joined the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce as a premium member. So what do we want to start with first? You want to tell us a little bit about some of what you guys are involved with construction-wise?
Yeah, sure. So DiPasquale Construction is part of the DCI team of companies. DCI team of companies, we actually have 4 operating divisions, one in general construction, one in construction management, one for self-performing services, and another one for our real estate and development ventures. DiPasquale Construction started around 10 years ago. Our general contracting arm, we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We are familiar with the town of Greece. We're actually putting the addition on the Greece Community Center right now.
That's
down
great.
And a big, huge addition going on there if you haven't seen it. Then we're also just finished the library expansion with the town of Greece. We did some work a while back on the police station, so we've had a great relationship with the town of Greece municipalities over the years. Mm-hmm. And we've been growing a lot in the past 10 years, and we decided to make Greece our new home of our corporate headquarters, which we are going to be opening up later this summer in Canal Ponds Business Park.
Which is very exciting news, really, really
Yes.
terrific.
Yes.
And hopefully we're looking forward to being involved in helping you to celebrate your grand opening, and delighted that you're moving into the town, itself at Canal Ponds. So and you've got those are some major projects in the town, but you guys don't just operate in the town of Greece, right? Or even just on the west side, do you?
Oh, no, we actually have projects going on right now all the way from Oswego all the way over to Batavia, as far south as Olean. We've done some work at Alfred State College. We've done some work at Buffalo College. We've done some work as far up north Watertown. We remodeled Sandy Creek schools.
Wow.
Our portfolio is roughly around 75% of public work projects and 25% private projects. So we also do private projects for companies, and we are a metal building builder as well, so we do some metal building structures.
That all sounds commercial. Is that about right? It sounds like your sweet spot is commercial. Okay.
Yes,
great.
We are all commercial. Yes.
Wonderful. And obviously an enormous footprint in terms of, where your projects are located, and some very large projects. Now, I'm just plain ignorant, and there might be other people out there in the listening audience who are, could use a little help here too. You mentioned metal buildings?
So prefabricated metal buildings now are a new thing where they're a little bit cheaper because the metal's manufactured off-site, the steel's manufactured off-site, and it's almost like when we were kids, they deliver it to the job site and you put it together like an erector set.
Oh, wow. How cool.
So a lot of the buildings, like we just finished one on Scottsville Road for Monroe County. It's their new snow removal equipment building, which is right next to the Federal Express building on Scottsville Road. It's a huge prefabricated metal building. They're very popular in the freight and LTL industries. A lot of trucking companies use these prefabricated metal buildings, machine shops, things of that nature. It's a cheap way to put up a very good, nice structure.
That's great. And not everybody who does construction does the metal buildings. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And we're the Varco Pruden, which is a global company. They're owned by one of the largest manufacturers of steel in the United States. We are the only builder in this area that is authorized to put up their building.
Oh, well, that's very impressive and important information. That's very cool. So what, 10 years, you guys it sounds like you've had a meteoric, expansion and growth to the company. It's 10 years, you said, that since you started, right?
Yeah, so the sister company was started actually back in 1994 performing site work services, which is our self-performing services group. Then after we grew for a while, DiPasquale Construction, the general contracting arm, was open 10 years ago. And yes, we have had we've been growing like crazy. Mm-hmm. We've been a Rochester top 100 fastest growing company. We've been in the top 12 for the past 5 years.
Wow.
So being in the top 100 for the Rochester Chamber fastest growing company is also a big feat, but being in the top 12 for the past 5 years has been enormous.
That is really impressive. So obviously, you and everybody at the company at DiPasquale Construction are obviously doing a great job. And it may be difficult to sort of suss this out, but are there some, and maybe these are trade secrets, I don't know, but, to what do you owe your tremendous success? I mean, my goodness.
Yes, well, I'll tell you, it starts with our website, which is the DCI team. We are a team here. Everybody from we cannot put these buildings up and do what we do without our manpower and our teams out in the field who work hard in the snow, the rain, the sleet, the weather conditions around here. They do an excellent job. And we really feel that we have the best team of people. We take care of our employees. One of the reasons that made this building in Canal Ponds so attractive to us is that it's 20 minutes from Hilton, 20 minutes from Victor, 20 minutes from Webster. So pretty much anywhere you live in the suburbs, it's a 20-minute commute right off 390, 490. We're adjacent to the canal. We have a 3,000 square foot training center to develop our staff and our team going up on the third floor. We also put in a 400 square foot gym and a rooftop deck overlooking the Erie Canal.
Nice.
So you have to give your people all the tools necessary to succeed. You have to train them, develop them, give them a growth path. I think if you take care of your people and have a great culture, then the people will come and work for you, and you're only as good as your people.
Yep.
And we're as good as we are because we have a great team of people working here, and I'm honored to work alongside them every day.
Isn't that's such a nice thing to hear? It's such an important message, and undoubtedly you're taking great care of the folks that work with you and for you because, especially right now, it's difficult to keep people, it's difficult to attract people, but you obviously have a wonderful team. And I know you're particularly involved in that, right? Aren't you involved in sort of the HR functions along with many other operational things?
Yes. I personally oversee all the finances, marketing, human resources, information technology, our insurance program, and our legal program. So the business side of things goes through me. That's
great. And you take care of that side, but then there's a whole other side, and that's the construction side, right?
Of course. And our COO works very hard every day, side by side with our owner and company president, Chris DiPasquale, who's actually out in the field visiting our job sites, day after day after day, making sure that the teams in the field are performing to our company standards and that these buildings are going up according to plans and specs and things are being taken care of for our clients, which is something that's very unheard of. It's not very often where the president of the company is going to job site every single day, bouncing around, working alongside his people. It makes us, between that and our self-performing services team that does a lot of the work in the field, we're not a broker house where we were just, where we subcontract out everything. We self-perform around 20% of our projects. Usually a subcontractor is not on site until we put up steel. Because we self-perform all the site work and footings and foundations and a lot of the work on these projects. And, yes, having him out there is huge.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it means that he really knows what's going on. He's able to make any course corrections. He's able to interact with the customer directly. And, of course, what a great morale builder when the boss is right there with you, right next to you in the trenches. So, and the owner's name then is Chris DiPasquale?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're the DiPasquale of DiPasquale Construction, Chris DiPasquale, and you and he go way back, don't you?
Yes, actually we do. We've been friends ever since we met each other when we were 13 years old.
Oh my gosh!
Grew up in a housing tract that was right next door to each other. Went to high school, played high school football together. He actually signed my marriage certificate 14 years ago.
Wow.
So, yes, we go way, way, way back, which makes this all that much more exciting that I get to come to work every day, work alongside of a long-term friend, build this company and watch this company grow and be around him and his family. We have both of his kids work here as well.
Nice.
They're out in the field, right, and that's how he likes it. One of them is with our site crew. Another one is an assistant project manager, learning the paperwork side of things, and both of those boys are doing an excellent job as well. They're young; they got a long way to go, but we have another generation of DiPasquales coming through the ranks here.
How lovely! That is so nice, and what a great story. Just hearing about your long-term friendship. I wish I had somebody that I don't have anyone from when I was 13 years old that I'm still friends with, much less so involved with, and what a thing to treasure, a good friend, and being able to. There's nothing better than being able to do what you're passionate about, and to do good work and meaningful work in the community. But to be able to do it with family and with friends is especially a joy. So good for you guys. That's a lovely story.
Yes, it is. Definitely a joy.
Yeah, it goes a long way toward answering the question, why are you so successful too? Because when there's joy and there's passion and there's respect for each other and then the people that you're working with, and you said with is it a 30,000 square foot, right? Training center?
No, the training center is 3,000 square feet. Just 3. Yep.
3,000, which is plenty of space, but to have a training center is great. But then your new location is going to have, say it again, is it like a rooftop area?
So that's on the third. So what we did is we put a third floor on the building, and the only thing on the third floor is the training center, a 400-square-foot gym, and a rooftop deck overlooking the Erie Canal.
And the gym is for the employees?
Yes, it's for the employees. It's to support health and wellness.
Yep.
We've done a lot of things in the building, from putting family-style seating in the cafeteria so that we all sit together and eat together, so we don't have little individual tables where we're all sitting individually. We've put in some of the best technology in there as far as having fiber optics run to the building, an amazing internet and Wi-Fi structure, having just great places to meet. We have a couple large conference rooms, small conference room. It is really, really going to be a state-of-the-art facility when it's done.
Oh, we're so excited. It sounds wonderful. I hope we're looking forward to seeing the entire thing and helping to celebrate the grand opening in the town of Greece.
To it as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And before I let you go, if someone listening is interested, either in turning to you guys or exploring having you, undertake a construction project, a commercial construction project of some sort, or if maybe somebody is interested in working for you, how would they get in touch with you? What's a good way?
Yeah, the best place, of course, is to visit dci-team.com, which is our website. There's a lot of great information on our website as far as what we do, our different operating entities, as well as the contact page, which they can contact us through the contact page. And we'll be glad to talk to anybody, a potential employee or a customer.
Absolutely. We'll just say that website one more time. That's DCI-team.com.
Got it. Ma'am.
Okay, DCI-team.com. Jason Colline, Vice President of DiPasquale Construction, thank you so very much for being with us here on Business Voice.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. All right, don't go away. We're going to be right back with my next guest. Do not flip that dial.
Do you ever question how much value you get for the money you spend? Funerals can be expensive, and you should feel confident getting what you paid for. Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home promises to deliver. From expert guidance to a warm, inviting facility to handling all the details during a difficult time. Their priority is to create a meaningful tribute for your loved one and for you to feel that you spent wisely. When you're in need, call Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home, 720-6000.
WYSL.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Parado Funeral Home. I am Sarah Lentini, as always, your host. I'm also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. My next guest is here with us now, and I'm so delighted to welcome him, Brian Rogers, who is the retail store manager of AT&T, very specifically the store in the mall at Greece Ridge. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on today.
Oh, absolutely. So, and we're delighted that you're a member of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. I should have mentioned that as well. Thank you so much. And, you're right across the street, actually, from the chamber office, so that's kind of nice. We're right there in the town of Greece, across from the mall. And, Brian, AT&T is certainly a big name. You know, everybody should have heard of AT&T, right? But obviously you've gone through some changes over the years. And before I forget, we should tell folks that the store that you manage at the mall at Greece Ridge has got a big anniversary coming up, right?
We do. It's actually been 15 years since we have officially moved to the location here into the mall. Believe it or not, this used to actually be a Best Buy Mobile. So, yeah. Thank you very much. It's been a while since we moved from across the street. If you remember, that was actually an old church where AT&T was back when it was singular. And we moved across the street 15 years ago. Yeah,
that's great. Well, it's a wonderful location. I mean, and we're actually looking forward to coming out and helping you celebrate your 15-year anniversary, which is a big deal. And and then I think we're going to be doing a couple of other things together. So we're excited about that. So being in the mall, I'm sure you've got lots of products and services. And I don't know if you've got anything in particular that might be emerging over the next 6 to 12 months that you want to tell people about. But tell us about the store and what you've got available for folks.
Well, a lot of stuff that we've actually been really focused on is helping out our community, right? And that's in terms of our first responders, military vets, especially with the Nurse Appreciation Week coming right up. We've really had a heavy focus on making sure we take care of the people who take care of us in our times of need. We have something that we've actually partnered with the federal government with. It's called FirstNet. It's actually a program specifically for our first responders to be able to make sure that they have service in their time of need and our time of need.
Wow.
It's a great program. It offers discounts not only to them, to also their family members and friends, anyone on the account. It's really something that we're passionate about here, and make sure that our first responders who, like I said, take care of us, more importantly than anything else, that we take care of them, because they really do go underappreciated. And it's very important to us that we make sure that everyone knows that if any first responder needs anything, make sure to reach out to us, because we're here to help.
Okay. And so the first responders include like firefighters, police. Tell us who's in the category again.
Yeah, you actually wouldn't believe the amount of people who actually qualify to be first responders.
Okay.
Think of anyone. What happens if the power goes out?
Okay. Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
If the power goes out, RG&E, linesmen, these people are first responders. Anyone, basically, if you can think of it time of like a major emergency, these are the people who are considered first responders. Also, people in our transit systems. A lot of things that you would never think of. Most people just think of fire, police, nurses, doctors, but that's not the case. It's also people who work in these agencies, like Rochester Regional Health.
Oh, wow.
We have a partnership with them, so basically anyone who works for Rochester Regional Health qualifies. Because
that's great.
Even without the doctors and nurses, the hospital's got to run.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
it's a team effort, of course. Yes, that makes sense.
Effort.
Yeah.
Yep, so
that's
it's
great.
Not just one person, and we recognize that here at AT&T.
That's wonderful. And so they and their families qualify for discounts on both phones and services, or just services, or...
Phones and services. They actually get 25% off their total bill.
Wow.
And the FirstNet customer themselves has a lower rate plan.
Okay.
And right now they qualify for like free Apple Watches. We have some trade-in. Yeah. Yeah, so it's literally a free watch.
Yeah.
You just come on in and we get you a watch.
That's great. I think people will be making career changes. I think this is wonderful.
Right?
Great. It's terrific.
So it's really a large thing that we're especially trying to call out right now. With everything going on in the world and the need for first responders being as it is, we just want to make sure that they feel appreciated and they and their families are taken care of. And make sure it's affordable for them, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's one less thing for them to stress about.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for.
What a great message. What a great thing to be doing for the people, as you said, who are there for us when we're in crisis, when we're having emergencies of all sorts. I love that you're also broad in your definition of first responders. And, I imagine that a lot of people listening don't actually know about this. I was not aware of it. And it's a program, you said, in partnership, did I hear right, with the federal government?
Yeah. So what happened after 9/11 is basically when 9/11 happened, nobody could use their phones because the cell towers were so bogged down. So no first responders could get through. They had no means of communication.
Oh, wow.
So what they did was they put it up for bid for this program called FirstNet. It's a special band called Band 14 that only allows first responders on it. So to make sure that they could actually get service in our time of need.
That's great. I mean,
there's no network congestion. They'll never have to worry about their signal. They
awesome.
will have service. This is actually the best network available in the country.
That's an enormously important component of this as well, and what a great thing to have put in place. Yeah, I can imagine. What it would all come back to bite all of us if first responders aren't able to get through when they need to on our behalf. So that's fantastic. And now let's talk a little bit about the store. How long have you been there, Brian? You're the retail store manager at the Mall at Grease Ridge, right?
Well, funny story. I've been here about what is this? A month and a half now? Yeah,
Get
about
out.
a month and a half.
No.
Yeah, I took this store over about a month and a half ago.
Oh my goodness, nobody would guess that. I've got to tell you, you seem like an old pro. How is that possible? That's wonderful. Have you been in the industry for a while, or?
Yeah, I've been with AT&T for about a year.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Okay.
And before that, I worked for a competitor for about 3 years. And before that, I was a general manager for several other companies. Yeah. But AT&T is my home. I'm really happy here. They've done a great job in taking care of me and actually helped me in my professional development a ton.
Oh, that's great. So they provide some training. Is that part of the professional development, or?
Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of different training programs, paying for schooling, everything. Really, it's a great company to work for. I couldn't ask for anything better, to be honest with you. In coming here from another wireless provider, it's night and day. This is actually where I grew up. So when this store became available, I jumped at it. From Greece, grew up in Greece my entire life. I went to Olympia High School. I went to Apollo back when Apollo was a thing.
That's great. I didn't realize that you're a Greece native, so that's even better. Obviously, you're working, right in the center of Greece, so that's wonderful. And how nice to hear that they're into, professional development. Our previous guest was talking about that as well, and it, strikes me as so important that employers invest in their employees and appreciate them, and that it goes such a long way toward the success of the business. So you're kind of reinforcing that message, which I think is a great message. So
wonderful. They let me do. They give me kind of a large leash. Like I'm passionate about the community, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, I grew up in Greece. I have 3 kids. They all live here. They all go to Greece schools. Mm-hmm. So I am passionate about this community. Like I said, I jumped at this store. Mm-hmm. I was like, I want this store. This is my community. I want to figure out a way to be able to help the community and be involved in the community.
That's great. That's wonderful. And just so we've touched on this, I mean, you guys, if I walk into your store, you have cell phones, right? And plans to go with them. And what other sorts of talk to us a little bit about the actual products.
Yeah, there's laptops. You could actually purchase tablets, watches. all of it, mobile hotspots for your business on the go. So, important things like that you would not really think of. And for our business customers, we offer all kinds of specialty programs where we have mobile wireless internet to be able to make sure that you can connect anywhere, along with fleet solutions for trucks. So if you're an owner of a truck or like an ambulance center, a trucking company, we have fleet solutions to be able to help those guys monitor and actually help their business. We also have TV services. We are partnered with DirecTV, so we also offer cable. We try and be a complete solution.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
And
so we are partnered with DirecTV. You come on in and you want some DirecTV, we're here for you.
Wow. So you really a one-stop, and that's got to make you completely different from most of your competition, yes?
Yeah.
That's really...
We are the only one who actually offers a complete solution.
Wow. I didn't know that. And if people are interested in learning more, obviously they can come to the store. And can we just tell them once again where you are? I think we've said the mall, but maybe the mall and address and what you're next to again?
We're at 401 Grease Center Drive, and that's basically, it's like 2 doors down from Macy's. Everyone knows where the pretzel place is and where FYE is. We're right there. Everyone knows where the pretzel place is.
Well, it has an awesome smell. Yes, it's kind of hard not to do that.
Yep,
great.
So we're right there.
Okay, that's great. And if they wanted to check you out, I'm sure there's the website. I don't know, is there a place to connect with your store in particular, or a phone number for your store? There's some other ways.
If you Google us, that's the best place. I actually am. I will see all of those and respond to any questions. If you just Google the store, Grease Ridge Mall, AT&T, I have access and respond to all of those messages.
Oh, that's wonderful to know that people can. So, that's sort of an easier way to reach out to you, a different way to reach out to you, and that you are personally responding to everything's amazing. So you said Google Grease Ridge Mall, AT&T, and you should come right up.
And that will give you a more personal solution there, because you connect directly with me.
That's great. That's wonderful. Brian Rogers, Retail Store Manager, AT&T. I just want to thank you so very much for being with us here today on Business Voice.
And thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. All right, don't go away. Don't flip that dial. We're coming up with my next guest.
My career as a journalist spans nearly 2 decades, much of that here at 13 WHAM News. We begin with law enforcement encountering... The news we share can be difficult, but it's important to keep you informed and ready for what's ahead. I promise we'll also highlight all the good in our community and celebrate what brings us together. That's my commitment to you every night on 13 WHAM News.
Matt Malloy, weeknights on 13 WHAM News at 5, 10, and 11.
WYSL.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host. I'm also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber, and I'm very delighted to welcome my next guest, Dustin Hartman, who is the owner of the new Jersey Mike's Subs right on West Ridge Road across from Ridgemont Plaza in the town of Greece. Welcome, Dustin.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm delighted to have you on. So it seems like it was just yesterday that we did a grand opening with you at your beautiful new restaurant on West Ridge Road across from Ridgemont. But it probably wasn't just yesterday. How many months has it been since you've opened?
Well, it was December 7th, so we're coming up on 6 months.
Well, that's a very nice milestone. Happy 6-month anniversary. How are you doing? I know that people have been very excited that you've opened, and we were very excited, and everything looks and smells and tastes amazing. But you're kind of a new, I had never been to a Jersey Mike's before. And Jersey Mike's is not a new entity, but it's kind of new in the Rochester region, right? Tell us about Jersey Mike's.
Yeah. So there has never been Jersey Mike's in Rochester, which is one of the few major cities that Jersey Mike's hadn't reached yet. So there's 2,500 locations nationwide.
Wow.
And the chain's been around since 1956 when the first store opened right on the beach Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
Nice.
And so it's got some history there, and really the strength, I think, of the company is staying true to those roots. It's a small-town sub shop.
Right.
Got great fresh food, really getting served by your neighbors in there, and it has that neighborly feel and that connection to the community with the effort to continually be living generously and doing the month of giving and day of giving and connecting with the schools. So, yeah, absolutely. We definitely staying true to the roots while there's a definite chemistry there that's keeping things growing, 2,500 stores and growing.
And speaking of community, you're from Rochester originally, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Brockport High School. Actually lived in Hamlin, so even smaller, getting further on the west side there. But, yeah, I live in North Greece now with my family of 4. And,
Lovely family of 4, I might
yes,
add.
it's
You have
wonderful
a wonderful
to be back.
family. Yeah, nice. Because you left the area and then came back to open up this particular store, which you own, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I spent the last 12 years in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I worked with a Chick-fil-A down there and a ministry. And my wife is a public school teacher, so
Nice.
we've been heavily involved in the communities, and that was one of the big draws for us as we were looking at a franchise and seeing that there was an opportunity to get to Rochester with a company like Jersey Mike's. We were extremely excited.
That's great. And, that's an important thing for folks to realize. It's a big national company and national chain with 2,500 locations across the country, but it is a franchise operation, and so you are a franchise owner. I mean, you're a local family, and you own this restaurant that's the first of its kind in Rochester. You own it out. I mean, you may have franchise requirements to meet, but you're really owners. It's kind of a great opportunity to own a business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of structures around that. You can only have certain items on the menu, which we've broken a lot of hearts so far with the meatball sub not being on there.
Oh.
But I like to think that our extensive cheesesteak offerings go far and above and beyond that.
Right. And the food is beautiful. It looks like, deli fresh meats. Really lovely. And we should talk a little bit about it. So there are subs available, right, for starters, because that's sort of the core business, right? But you have some other foods, and don't you also have some special needs kinds of products? Weren't you telling me that maybe you have a gluten intolerance, that you might be able to address that?
I sure do, and boy, I'm glad. I just found out going on a month and a half ago that I have celiac disease. And, the doctor had the hard news of delivering to a sub shop owner. They can't eat bread.
Oh, yeah. That must.
But,
dear.
it's been a wonderful surprise for me. Going into that, I was dreading it. All I've heard is horror stories. But actually, my assistant manager also has celiac disease.
Oh, my.
And he was telling me, hey, you're not going to have trouble here. Our bread is great, our gluten-free bread.
That's great.
And, I've been putting on weight in a good way because I'm eating good food over there with that gluten-free bread.
Yeah.
But we also have breadless options with the bowls. But altogether, kind of the menu's cut in 2 parts, and our sales are probably even more so heavily weighed on the cheesesteak side up here in Rochester. Out on the beach, traditional Jersey Mike's is probably 80-20 cold cuts. Everything's sliced right in front of you in the store on bread that's baked fresh every single day.
Wow.
Every morning, that's what our opener's main job is, baking that bread and getting the lettuce and onions and tomatoes all sliced up fresh. And then
delicious.
So all that would be the cold cut line. And that is traditionally probably 80% of the store's volume. But up here in Rochester, it's probably almost flipped for 30 to 20%. The cold cuts, and that grill is extremely popular up here, where we do our chicken and our beef cheesesteaks that are grilled fresh right in front of you.
Oh, that sounds very yummy. Really nice. the whole thing sounds delicious. Fresh baked bread. You got me at fresh baked bread. And first of all, I'm so sorry. I mean, since you've just mentioned that you were diagnosed with celiac disease, I'm very glad they diagnosed it. I'm so sorry you have it. And I don't, it's a pretty serious thing. So it's really good that they have figured that out and that you're, on the road to eating what you need, the way you need to eat. It's even better news, though, that you've got the ability to continue to eat the very products that you serve. I'm just going to say, I had the benefit of sitting next to you recently at your restaurant, and I saw the gluten-free sub and I saw the gluten-free bread, and it looked really good. I think that's a really important offering. I don't know what's going on with us as a people, but it does seem as though there are more and more people that I run across who have, at a minimum, gluten intolerance. Maybe not full-blown celiac disease, but gluten intolerance. So it's so nice that you can address this.
It's been interesting, and I feel blessed that we found this in the year 2023 because. I really, my heart goes out to people that found out about this sort of thing 15, 20 years ago. We have way more options now, way better quality options. People have had more time to experiment with this. There just wasn't much available back then, but like I said, right now it's not bad. My wife's been doing a little bit of experimenting. She's wonderful in the kitchen and has been finding stuff for us at home as well. But it really hasn't been nearly as arduous of a journey so far as I've been trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah, your gluten-free sub didn't look arduous at all. It looked quite delicious.
It is, and that bread is not crumbly. A lot of the gluten-free bread kind of fall apart on you. I think there's something in that gluten or that wheat that holds it together that is missing in a lot of the gluten-free options. And our bread it doesn't fall apart in your hands, doesn't crumble like that.
Well, that's wonderful. And the food is great. I mean, and it's nice that you can also, if you're not eating bread, because some people aren't doing that at all for whatever reason, that you can get, the breadless bowls, which is actually kind of what I did when I was there, and it was delicious. I really enjoyed that. So I'm sure that folks are still discovering you guys. But I know that there was a line instantaneously when you opened because people were so excited. And let's tell folks once more where you are so that they can find you and also how they can reach out to you.
Yeah, we're at 2838 West Ridge Road. We're right across the street from Ridgemont Plaza, right next to the Bank of America. That's that corner of Ridge Road and Harvest. Raymore and Flanagan's right there as well. Our phone number is 585-622-6446, but the easiest way to really place an order and see the whole menu as you do it to avoid any confusion around ordering subs can be a lot of different ingredients and what do you want on top of there, if you want it Mike's way or not. And so looking at the menu online and placing that order online is definitely the most streamlined way to get that order in and to explore the menu and see what sticks out to folks.
And what's the best way to find you online? Do people just put in Jersey Mike's like Greece or Jersey Mike's Rochester, or how do they find you?
So if folks just go to jerseymikes.com, you'll be able to go find locations. And with how technology has grown now, it quickly finds your location close to you, and so we would be the Greece location, and then they'd be able to place an order with us for pickup.
That sounds wonderful. And there is also, you can eat in the restaurant. You have seating as well, just to make sure people are aware of that. Because we at the Grease Chamber just used some of your seats and had a really nice lunch. Before I let you go, I just want to say, are there, any new menu options that come up at different times of year? Or are there any events coming up or you mentioned that you like to be involved in the community. Are there any opportunities for community involvement or community relations that you might want to mention to the listening audience?
Not so much coming up right now. We just finished up our month of giving that really peaked at our day of giving, where 100% of our sales went to the Special Olympics of Rochester.
Wow.
Yeah, we raised $10,500 out of our store.
That's amazing.
And out of Rochester as a whole, it was $66,000 for the Special Olympics.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful, great turnout.
Okay.
Yeah, we did 470 loaves of bread at our location in Greece. It was wonderful. The community really showed up and supported the Special Olympics with us.
That's great.
So we just concluded that, but we just catered the cast and crew of the SpongeBob musical at Athena, and we're going to be doing some teacher appreciation luncheons that have been booked with us, catering for the teachers. And so, we're trying to really come alongside the schools and the students in the area and ensure our support. That's
amazing. That's really impressive. I didn't realize how much you've already done, and you've only been open 6 months. So that's very generous, and I imagine people are really excited about your community spirit and your community generosity. Thank you. As just one member of the community, but on behalf of the Greece Chamber for what you're doing, and I really want to thank you very much. Dustin Hartman, owner of the New Jersey Mike's Subs on Westridge Road in the town of Greece, across the street from Ridgemont Plaza and near, among other things, the Remax. There's a Remax location right in that same plaza as well. Just a shout out to those folks as well. Thank you very much, Dustin Hartman, for being with us here today on Business Voice.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome. All right, don't go away. We're going to be right back with my next guest. Do not flip that dial.
Families who choose cremation may worry about security. Are the ashes in the urn, in fact, their loved ones? Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home is Monroe County's exclusive provider of cremation with confidence. Their 10-step cremation process guarantees that the cremated remains returned to you are those of your loved one. To learn more about cremation with confidence, call Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Home, 720-6000.
WYSL.
Welcome back. You're listening to Business Voice, a program of the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Bartolomeo and Prado Funeral Homes. My name is Sarah Lentini, and I'm your host. I'm also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber, and I have a wonderful guest, a repeat guest with me here today, Kevin Ferguson, who is the business development manager for all of upstate New York for Collette, a wonderful international tour operator that you've probably heard of, especially if you watch Wheel of Fortune. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on the show. I know you're a busy guy. We just finished telling people that you're the business development manager for all of upstate New York, which is an enormous territory. And you've been doing this a while for Collette, right?
Yes. So I've been with the company for 16 years, both as a tour manager out on the road in the thick of it all. Home for me is Syracuse, but about 9 years ago, started just focusing on central and western New York. So basically everything over to Niagara Frontier and Lewiston and Youngstown down to Chautauqua and over to the 81 corridor up to Messina down to Binghamton.
Yeah,
that obviously changed. Yeah, that changed with the pandemic, and now I cover all the way over to basically up to Plattsburgh and then down just north of New York City, Rockland County, Pearl River, Nyack, West Point. So.
It's big.
Little bit of a territory.
A little bit of a territory, yeah. New York State's a big state. That's great. And you mentioned that you've expanded your territory actually in the last few years, and of course the last few years have been a tremendous challenge for everybody on the planet, quite literally. And of course, one of the things that we unfortunately weren't allowed to do up until a couple of years ago is to get back on planes and travel again. And I know people are extremely excited about being able to exercise, the freedom to go and visit other countries and places in this country as well, for that matter. And so. I know that you've been seeing a tremendous uptick in travelers and excitement, and tell us a little bit about that and what you have on the docket.
Yeah, it's unbelievable now. So, I mean, they had expanded my territory because at that time during the pandemic, there was just not that demand, and they had to let people go, just like every other industry. But really, we started to see the resurgence and the return of travel here in upstate New York, roughly around late summer of 2021 and into 2022, with the return testing being removed last year, that saw the influx of demand for international travel. And so what we have called it is called revenge spending, basically of that idea of haven't gone anywhere, haven't done anything with my funds. Now what people are doing is they're traveling longer, going and doing those bucket list destinations, whether here in the country or internationally, and just wanting to take claim of those last 3 years of missed memories, opportunities, and experiences.
Yeah.
So it is unbelievable. We're up about 60 to 70% in terms of just the demand compared to last year in upstate New York. So
that's unbelievable.
The world is open. Are you open to it? That's where you're to decide.
Oh, I love that. The world is open. Are you open to it? So let's talk a little bit about Collette, because Collette is, an incredible company with an incredible history, and it didn't come around. It didn't start just yesterday, right? So.
No. We are the longest-running tour operator in North America. So we've been around for 105 years, since 1918. So we've weathered recessions, depressions, world wars, calamities left and right. And we're a family-run entity. We're based out of Providence, Rhode Island, and started with motor coach tours on the East Coast. Internationally, it started to take claim in the 1970s, and today we do 180 itineraries, 58 countries, all 7 continents.
Wow.
So,
yeah. And, there are different terms that people are familiar with in the travel industry, but they can sometimes get a little confused, or they could be overlapping. I mean, you're not a travel agent per se; you're a tour operator, correct? And that means you put it all together and you actually run it in a sense, right?
Correct. So we are a tour operator. We take care of the components of the hotels, the sightseeing, the experiences, the culinary. That's on tour, making sure to hit those highlights, ticking all those boxes of what to do, what to see, and, when we're there. Having it that as a guided experience. So you have a tour manager who's with you the entire time in the destination, staying at the same hotel. It really allows to have that, comfort, that peace of mind, knowing that you've got that friend on the road, that tour guide, confidant, concierge, but also the opportunity for free time to do what you'd like to do on your own in these experiences. So, yes, we're a tour operator. We organize, and basically from beginning to end, from the whole experience.
Yeah. People often ask, does this include airfare? Does it include hotel? Does it include accommodations? And of course, it includes all those things and more. And I should mention, because I don't think I have yet, that the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce has a long-standing partnership with Collette. And thank you. Collette is also a member of the Greece Regional Chamber, long-standing member. And the partnership consists of our working together to select some key destinations each year. Group travel destinations that we then offer both our members and also the community as a whole. And it gives us, the opportunity to help people, see the world, both the people that are in business and the people that are just in the community, and help them celebrate all the wonderful places on the planet. And I believe myself personally that, taking some time to recharge, rejuvenate, get inspired is essential to human development and obviously also to business development. Sometimes when you're in another country, you get a completely different perspective, and you maybe even have a chance to, to see some different ways of operating small and large companies, because there's certainly some great examples. I'm just thinking about Europe of very different approaches to business. So, it isn't a business endeavor per se, maybe, but this is not that unusual for chambers of commerce to do. And we're delighted to be able to partner with you guys. I've said to many folks, and, I'd love to hear you talk more about this as well, Kevin, but I've said to many folks, that Collette is not because we've partnered with you for a long time. We've worked with others folks as well, so we have some broader perspective. And Collette, isn't the most expensive tour operator out there. Collette is also not the cheapest, the least expensive tour operator out there. And I've said you don't want the least expensive tour operator out there because what you provide is a quality experience with a good value at a good price. So talk to us about that, because I know you guys. This is what you do. This is what you work on every day.
Exactly. I mean, price is what you pay. Value and quality is what you want and what you expect. So you hit the nail on the head, Sarah, when you said, we're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive. When somebody says, I want the cheapest trip to place X or place Y, stripping those things down, having no meals included, having everything as an optional tour, and you're going, okay, so basically I'm in the destination, now what?
Yep.
We want to make sure that we, again, hit some of those just brand standards of having a sightseeing, being in a centrally or strategically located hotel, making sure that, hey, if we're going to Rome, Italy, why don't we have a tour of either the Vatican or doing the Colosseum, not making it an extra charge. It's just some of those basic common sense things. And yes, when you mentioned again the business side of it here, a lot of the times in those destinations, there might be that local interaction with that shopkeeper, that business person. So, for example, in Italy, just to speak about it here, is going to a local buffalo milk mozzarella farm, seeing how they're doing and making all these, or maybe it will be a shop where they do mosaics in Jordan on our Jordan Egypt tour, seeing how things done. And again, that's the thing, is being able to have that interaction with the culture, meeting the people there as well. And as you mentioned, again, it's travel. It allows you to open up that mind and that mindset of, wow, even though we have different customs and languages and this and that, in a lot of ways we're all the same.
Yeah, and we've got lots of great trips, so I'm going to want to, I might turn to you in a minute to just sort of list off some of the trips that we're working on together that people might want to check out through the Chamber website. I want to mention two additional things, and one is, once again, you don't need to be a member of the Chamber to travel on these Collette trips, through the Chamber. But a lot of people do end up joining the Chamber because we do offer, typically, most of the time, some really great discounts for Chamber members. And Chamber membership, we've got a lot of different levels of membership, and some of them are quite inexpensive, and it sometimes makes complete sense to join because you end up getting more of a discount than the cost of the membership. So it's kind of a no-brainer. But in any event, you don't need to be a Chamber member to be traveling with the Chamber and Collette. And then the other thing, I'd love to hear about the trips, but I also want to mention one of the things that I think is so special about Collette is the insurance that you offer and the flexibility of being able to cancel a trip. So could you just mention that and then a few of the trips, and then I think, we'll probably be out of time.
Yeah, so when it comes to, first of all, our insurance is a cancel for any reason policy. Sick cat, bad hair day, bad hair life, whatever, literally to the day prior, full 100% money-back refund. Not a coupon, not a voucher, not a credit. We don't need a doctor's note. Any reason.
Yep.
That's a game changer, especially post-COVID or whatever, is that, is it a medical reason? Any reason. Number two is that when it comes to just knowing that you're with a company that during the pandemic, we did this for our clients. When we as a company couldn't operate trips, we gave an option of a full money-back refund, giving back over $185 million in those cash refunds. So, again, knowing that it wasn't a voucher, a future travel credit, that's why we've been able to weather the storm here for these last times. Now, looking at trips here for the fall of 2023, we still have some spacing available, even though it's past what we call our early bird savings. We still have some spacing available for our trip to Scotland at the end of August, early September. And that's going to focus on Glasgow, going to get to the Highlands, getting to whiskey distilleries, the Isle of Mull, and Urquhart Castle. We have Canadian Rockies by train in early October, which is going to be Vancouver, over to Banff, Lake Louise, in Calgary here. So we do an overnight on the Via Rail. That's October 5 to 13. We have our Essence of Thailand, and that is going to be going out in late October, early November. So when it's getting colder, the leaves have already fallen here. It is spring and summer over in Thailand, great weather. And we did this trip back in 2013. We had 12 or 13 from the Chamber on that trip, and they put it back out here again. I said, hey, it's been 10 years. Let's do it again. So looking forward on this. But again, doing Bangkok, doing the beaches of Chiang Mai and Phuket, doing home-hosted meals and visits, and really just a neat part of the world. And then for 2024, January, Hawaii and Hawaiian Adventure. Nice. 3 islands here. We're doing tropical Costa Rica in March with coffee plantations and the cloud forest and farm and tours and lunch, going to the coastline in Guanacaste. Portugal in April, and so this is going to be sunny Portugal. So early, I should say, Easter's going to be very early next year. It's March 31st. This is happening in April, so right after that, April 2. So again, really getting into the wine, the history, the culture of this area. Greece is coming back to Greece in May. We're going to go to do Athens, and we're going to do Mykonos and Santorini. And we had a number of travelers back in 2019 do a similar tour on this. This is multiple night stays out on those islands. Alaska's on the docket for August of next year with a cruise and land. And well off in the end of the year, we actually are going to do the Christmas market in late 2024.
Nice.
So there's some other things that are still sprinkled out there. We don't have the dates out yet, but everything from California and the Napa Valley and Yosemite in early October to exploring Britain and Ireland in September, off to Northern Italy in mid-June. So stay tuned and reach out to the Chamber for more information.
Absolutely. What a great range, and what a great range of trips. They sound wonderful. Very excited about what we have coming up, and hope that people check us out on the web at greasechamber.org. There's a travel tab. There are 2 navigation bars on the homepage. One is on top of the other. You want the highest one, kind of left of the middle. Travel is right there. Click on it. You'll see upcoming trips, and of course ways to reach out to us about more information. Kevin Ferguson from Collette, thank you so very much for being with us here today on Business Voice.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. That just about wraps it up for us here today on Business Voice. I'm Sarah Lentini, your host, also the president and CEO of the Greece Regional Chamber. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Bartolomeo and Parado Funeral Home. I, of course, want to thank WYSL, Bob D'Angelo, Bob Savage, our partners here at the station that do such a great job. Want to thank our guests, starting with Jason Colline of DiPasquale Construction, Brian Rogers of the AT&T store at the mall at Grease Ridge, Dustin Hartman of the New Jersey Mikes, right on West Ridge Road in the town of Greece, and of course Kevin Ferguson from Collette. Check us out on the web, greasechamber.org. That's greasechamber.org. And until next time, be well.
You've been listening to Business Voice. The Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce serves businesses, nonprofits, and individuals throughout the region, focusing on promoting economic and community development and serving as the voice for business. The Chamber offers networking, education, advocacy, community events, and business services. It serves as an important platform for business leaders and citizens to come together in support of common goals.